What? Not again. This phone. We dealt with this last year. Oh my gosh.
Don't you dare hang up.
You tell me not to hang up and then you hang up? Yeah. Ah. 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 Ah.
Ah!
Oh, scary!
Scary.
It's scary. It's so scary in here again.
Yeah.
Because
Terrifying.
the Halloween-themed episodes for Super Fuzz continue
Mm-hmm.
with this very spooky Halloween edition of... As I was saying, this very scary Halloween edition of Get
Real.
And on this edition of Get Real, we're talking about the movie that everyone is talking about. Everyone is seeing.
Yep.
It's on streaming.
Multiple commercials.
Everyone is excited about it. Everybody wants to see it. Everyone's talking about it. Of course, I'm talking about the new Munsters film by Rob Zombie.
Perfect, let's shoot. It's not going to get any better.
No, nobody's talking about that film.
No.
Nobody wants to see
gives
that.
a shit about that.
Nobody wants to see that film.
No.
I wanted to, but then I heard the reviews of everybody's just leaving like 2-word reviews. It sucks. Like then nobody's even going into depth about it.
Bad.
It's such a bad film. So, and it doesn't do the Munsters justice. So I've bypassed that. So on this episode of Get Real, this Halloween, which I am wearing a very festive Halloween shirt.
Spooky. I'm wearing Cling Clang.
You are. It's of a movie that we still haven't watched. I mean, we haven't watched for this episode. I've seen this movie a million times, but this is not the movie we're talking about. The Phantom of the Opera, of course. No, the movie we've seen. What is the movie we watched?
Hocus Pocus 2.
Oh, the long-awaited sequel to Hocus Pocus.
So long.
It's been 84 years.
It's been 84 years.
No, I feel that old.
You feel that
I
old?
do
No, we
feel
do.
that old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
30.
Just didn't know it.
33 is the new 78.
73.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. 78.
I think that's more appropriate.
Okay.
But anyway, no, we watched the long-awaited
50 years.
sequel. That's right, the long-awaited sequel to Hocus Pocus.
Mm-hmm.
There's now a name for those types of films. It's called Legacy Sequel.
Did not know that.
Sequels to films that came out a long time ago, and we've waited for their sequels for so long.
84 years.
84 years, and Top Gun was another one this year. That was a long-awaited sequel.
I didn't get
so,
to see that one.
no, but it's fine. But we're here. We are. We've talked about Hocus Pocus. We're talking about Hocus Pocus.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Pengrino, what did you think of Hocus Pocus Deuce?
I loved it. So it's overly cheesy. It's overly exaggerated.
But so was the first one.
So was but the first one actually wasn't. As we watch it as adults, I feel like we see that. But like thinking about it was,
but we didn't
not
see it as
for us
kids.
as kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it is.
It is. But I think this one is just like, it's ridiculous. But I love every second of it.
Yeah.
I loved every bit.
This is a rare hit in terms of big sequels. I think maybe Hollywood has figured. Well, I don't want to say that just yet, because then we might be unpleasantly surprised with the next Legacy sequel. But I was getting ready to say that Hollywood's kind of worked out all the kinks for sequels to movies that hasn't been around for a long time, like Top Gun. Top Gun Maverick is if not the best film of the year, it's one of the best films of the year for sure. One of the best ones I've seen in a long time, because it was just so well put together, so well made. It was obviously sort of a callback to everything that they did in the first film, but I gave it a lot of credit because they did it in a way that it wasn't like, remember this, it wasn't like, oh God, okay.
Which this was very similar.
Yeah, this was calling back on the beats of the first film without like, oh, this is happening again. Oh, this is going on again.
Really, it only called to the first one like within the first 10 minutes, and then it completely rerouted itself.
What they did the thing that I enjoy, and that's recapping what happened from the first film. There's a character that recaps some of the events from the first film in the movie.
29 years ago, on Halloween night, some swear they saw 3 figures fly across the moon.
So it works, and then they create their own story. Now, again, there's only so much you can do with the Sanderson sisters, and the Sanderson sisters are always trying to get their revenge on Salem. That's always what that is, and to live forever.
Right.
Or live past Halloween. I think that's what it is. Just to get past Halloween.
Till the next day.
Forget November 1st. I mean,
yeah, they just do the next day.
You know what? They'll stay alive through November 1st, eat brunch, and then die. I guess maybe that's their plan. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know what the full.
They want to stay young
plan.
forever.
I don't know what the full plan there is, but no, yeah. I mean, that's basically their goal. And you'd think, well, that's going to get old in a sequel. Not really. They put it together in a way that made it really, really good. And so I was pretty pleased with this sequel.
Well, because this one, so in the first one, they wanted the souls of children to stay young forever.
Mm-hmm.
This one, they
still want it.
They want that, but then they realize, like, the descendant of the person who was, like, terrible to them when they were growing up, who tried to, like, pull them apart, is there. And so they want revenge on that person.
Played by the great Tony Hale, who's funny in anything.
Oh my God, he's hilarious.
I love that guy. I love him in everything he's in.
And he just wanted his candy apple.
And then you pointed out a couple of the downfalls for me when it comes to this movie. Like, I don't want to give away too many spoilers here. We're gonna try to be as spoiler free as possible. But so Tony Hale plays the mayor of Salem. And he is the descendant of the reverend that banished the Sanderson sisters from Salem in
Banished Winnie.
Well, banished Winnie, but they went with her in 1653. And so they want their revenge on him, which is a great plot twist in terms of the movie that
something different than the original.
Right. So, but he's the mayor, so you'd think he'd be doing like some sort of mayoral thing. Like I was kind of expecting him to be like, this is the night where we condemn the Sanderson sisters. We shall never celebrate the Sanderson sisters ever again, or something like that. Kind of like, because maybe he's familiar with his ancestry or something like that. Clearly, he's not.
No,
he's clearly not familiar with.
Clearly not familiar.
He has no idea what's
all.
going on. But you'd think he would pull that kind of punch, and so where he might be just an equally bad antagonist as the Sanderson sisters. He has no clue what's going on, and his entire arc is that he wants a candied apple. That's the entire arc of his character.
Really?
Side note, the
mayor,
candy apple lady?
No, wait. The mayor of the town. You think about movies like Jaws, where it's like the mayor in Jaws is like, no, we're going to keep the town open. He does things that you don't like. Oh, you're supposed to not like the mayor. Guy just wants a candy apple.
He's just naive and stupid.
I'm like, that's kind of dumb for me. I don't know.
Side note, the candy apple lady is like from TikTok.
Is she?
Yeah, I saw like a behind the scenes, and like basically she was like posting her candied apples on TikTok, and they were like, hey, you want to be in Hocus Pocus? And she was like, yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I was like, that's awesome.
So TikTok is legitimate for finding new talent in the world, clearly.
She's like, I'm living my dream.
Exactly. But like that bugged me, and then there's other little things that we'll get into. But like we said, the overall story is really good. The fact that they switched it up, it's still we need to live forever, so we got to eat kids. But the fact that they switched it over, they, like immediately got into like revenge mode when they realized that the descendant of the reverend is still alive. It turned into a whole thing, and so I appreciated that. And what I love about the three of them, Bette Midler, Kathy Najimy, and Sarah Jessica Parker, is the fact that they just picked right up where they left off. They did not miss a beat. It was not forced. You would think Sarah Jessica Parker being in more mature roles that she's been in over the last 30 years, that it would seem kind of forced for her to be in that character again. No, it was actually really, really good. I really,
she
really
loves it. I can guarantee you.
Well, she does. I mean, clearly they all three loved it.
They wouldn't have come back
because they wouldn't have come back. But yeah, like it just everything worked, and it didn't seem like a sickly cash grab. Like this was like a legitimate film, because people have been begging for a sequel for almost 30 years. So it's nice to know that Disney is still able to make a sequel to a film that doesn't just seem like throwing money at the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it definitely. When we had Space Jam, that was heartbreaking.
Space Jam: A New Legacy was clearly a cash grab,
right?
From beginning to end. It was just landing on nostalgia. That's all that.
Coming off of that, and then banking on this like pure nostalgia kind of thing. Very worried if it was gonna be good or not.
Right.
But it wasn't pure nostalgia, because they changed it up. They fixed it a little bit,
right, to
something different.
But that's the thing, is like there's two ways to handle this, and I really do have to applaud Disney for handling it so well, because they've not handled things great in recent years. They've not, I mean,
not so good.
The Marvel franchise is like this now. It's up and down. Star Wars is like this. It's up and down, but you can't stop, and it's like, oh my god, I want to throw up. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I just pissed in my pants.
And then, they a lot of their newer products are fine, but like, it's just, it was, bottom line is, it's good to see them try to do something. Like, they really try.
Yeah.
With this film. And so, and that's what makes it enjoyable.
So me and Mo were talking about this earlier.
Mo, not this Mo.
Not this Mo. Mo is my pharmacist, Mo.
My pharmacist, Mo. Can you just say your coworker?
My coworker. Well, I mean, but he's my pharmacist. Like, my coworker.
They don't know what you do for a living.
Who am I? What am I?
They know I'm a pharmacist, right?
Well, okay, but they don't understand the link. That's the problem with her. She thinks you're going to know all the lingo. She also thinks apparently you're going to know all the people in her life too.
I feel like they should know who a pharmacist is.
Bill does great things.
My coworker.
That's all you had to say. Mo, and then go from there.
Stop tape for discussion.
We were talking about the product placement of Walgreens and how much they paid. And he goes, well, I bet Disney paid them. And I was like, oh, no. No, Disney ain't paying nobody.
Paid handsomely to be in
I want to know. Like, somebody find that out, because I am just curious, because not only were they like a huge product placement in there, I don't know if you've seen them, but they have posted commercials.
Oh, I know.
About the combination
There's
of the two.
There's a poster of the Sanderson sisters walking to Walgreens.
To Walgreens.
Yeah.
Like, I need to know how much they paid.
I'm trying to pull you more into frame. So, there we go. No, but you're...
I need to know.
Don't tell nobody.
No, you're absolutely right. Walgreens... And it played a huge role. Now, I will say again, this was very clever, the Walgreens thing, because they go in there and they do wacky things, and it was great.
Funny.
Whereas a lot of movies that have like just blatant product placement, it's just the brand is there.
Yeah.
It's in your face, and it's just.
Oh no, this was filmed in a Walgreens.
It was
this portion.
And it was great. It was well, maybe I don't know if it was filmed in a Walgreens.
No, that was definitely a Walgreens.
I mean, anyone can build a set.
That was definitely a Walgreens.
I'm not arguing with you that it's not. I'm just saying that they may have done whatever.
Shut up! Oh my god, I don't care!
The point is that
whatever.
The point is like there's blatant product placement, and then there's clever product placement, and that was very clever. What's weird is that I just recently watched the season premiere of Saturday Night Live, 48th season, and I, along with others, were complaining that a lot of their sketches was like product placement sketches. They did a sketch about McDonald's where all the characters from McDonald's, Hamburglar and Ronald McDonald, and Grimace, and everybody, they're coming back together for a new ad. And in the interim of their, them not doing stuff for McDonald's, Grimace has gotten jacked up and is now like I'm at peace, stuff like that, which was funny, but it was like, at the end of the day, this is a commercial for McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a sketch. I mean, the sketch was okay, but why are you doing something about McDonald's? It was just
because this is how you make money. You just product placement everything.
It was just so blatant, and there was another one I can't remember, but there was another one that was just blatant product placement, and it got old. But when you do it for something like this, I mean, there's clever ways of doing it, and they really did it in a very clever way. So I was pleased with that.
Well, too, because there were a couple times where the mayor made a comment about Walgreens, the lights were off in Walgreens, or well, what about so they threw their name in there.
I don't know how I feel about that one. I think you could have left that out, but it was still clever because something happens in the Walgreens and he just mentions it but he doesn't know how it happened.
Right.
It's funny. It is funny, but I don't know how about. But the fact that they went into it and they actually did the thing and it was fun. I enjoyed that. That was good. I got a kick out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's a couple things that bothered me.
Okay.
A couple things we got to clear up.
Okay.
First of all, there's a scene where I think the Sanderson sisters or is it the little girls? They're walking by somebody's house, and you peek in on the people and what they're watching.
Oh, it's the first Hocus Pocus.
They're watching the first Hocus Pocus. It got very meta for a second, but continuity-wise, it doesn't make any freaking sense. It made no sense. How could they be watching Hocus Pocus? It's supposed to be in the same universe. Hocus Pocus is supposed to be a movie. It's supposed to be something that really happened. Did you see that? Watch my stomach. Watch how it jiggles when I do this. Watch how it goes back and forth. What the fuck is that?
What the hell is even that?
Why was they watching the movie?
I think they were just trying to make the callback.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
if you want to do a callback, then unfortunately, you could. The scene that they were showing was Gary Marshall and Penny Marshall's characters in the first film. Unfortunately, they both passed away.
They're not alive.
They're not with us anymore, so you can't bring them back for
Maybe that's why they did it. Maybe that's why they did it, because they both passed and they were trying to
But it doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense.
I can't make it make sense.
It doesn't make any sense because if I shouldn't have to explain this to you.
Okay.
Hocus Pocus. It would be like.
Yes.
In a new Star Wars movie that came out right now, somebody passes by somebody watching Empire Strikes Back. It doesn't make any sense
because obviously nobody filmed it while it was happening.
It's in the storyline.
You're gonna hit me in the face.
It's in the storyline that they.
Stop it!
It was in the storyline. It doesn't make any sense. It's all canon. It's continuity.
You hurt.
I'm sorry, but it's all it's in canon. They shouldn't be watching Hocus Pocus.
They were. Next thing that bothers you. Go. Come on.
Okay.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Well, then there's one thing that started to be interesting, but then it went nowhere.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. Towards the end of the movie, not the very end, but towards the last few minutes, the two, not Winifred. Was Winifred? Who are the names of the other two? Sarah, Mary
and Sarah.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, anyway, the other two, Kathy Najimy and Sarah Jessica Parker's characters.
Sarah Jessica Parker plays Sarah.
I gotcha. They get powers.
They do.
All of a sudden, first of all, I never realized that they never had powers.
I didn't either.
I
just assumed they did, and they didn't use them because of Winnie.
I thought, or maybe I thought that only works collectively. Like they have to work together for their powers to work.
That makes sense too.
Yeah, I didn't know that they didn't have powers. So towards the end of the movie, they get powers, and for a split second, Sarah Jessica Parker's character stands up for herself and says, "I'm not listening to you anymore. You're not going to boss me around," or something like that. And then Winifred snaps at her, and then she goes right back to where she was. And that went nowhere.
Just kidding. So sorry.
It made no sense. Why give them power? Because that didn't go anywhere either. They didn't use their powers for anything.
It was an effect of the great power spell that they were doing.
You just have an answer for everything.
But that's why they got it, because they were all doing that.
You're the Rich Evans of Superfuss Productions. You have an answer for everything. You're just gonna say yes to everything. Yeah, you know. Here's the reason why, Hot Toddy. The bullshit. No. Bullshit. It doesn't make any sense, and the fact that she would stand up for herself only to back down, and then it never get mentioned again, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But You know, but those are little nitpicky things. I'm a nitpicker. When it
Yeah,
comes to
you
movies.
are.
I am a nitpicker. And those are two things that really bother me. Like there was no progression of that plot. And then what the hell are they doing watching Hocus Pocus in Hocus Pocus? It makes no sense. It makes no logical sense.
I understand that. But it happened, and it was 2 seconds, and it's fine.
Bitch, are you for real?
Spoilers ahead again here. Spoiler ahead.
Even though we said we were going to try and not spoil
Well,
anything.
this is the only second one, and this is the only time they set it up at the end of the movie. There's a post-credit scene, sets it up for a third film.
Yeah.
A possible third film. Doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be one, but a possible one. And I'm just here to say, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. That's all she wrote on Hocus Pocus. Don't do anymore.
Because, like, given the setup, given the storyline, the Sanderson sisters would most likely not be in it, and that's kind of the whole point of Hocus Pocus for people to watch it would be the Sanderson sisters.
And I've seen a lot of articles.
So
I've seen a lot of people talk online about the witch at the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
That gives the Sanderson sisters the book. Everyone really liked her, and so everybody's saying that they should do a Hocus Pocus movie with her. And I cry foul. I say, no, don't do that.
Well,
go ahead. Go ahead.
To be honest, they kind of set it up that it would be about her because her character is like this raven with red wings, which you see at the end in the post-credit scene, like flying over.
And they really shouldn't do it because every time they do a movie like that where it's the same franchise but with new people,
never good.
It doesn't work. Great example is Men in Black International. It was Chris Hemsworth and the other girl who's in the Thor movies with them. Yeah. Anyway, ironically, they're in that movie. They were the Men in Black in that film. And it's like, but it's not.
I still never saw that.
It's not. Well, neither did I, because nobody did. It was Will. Everybody wants to see Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones as the Men in Black. Another great example was in 2013. They tried to do a Jason Bourne movie without Jason Bourne. And in 2013, they tried to do another one with Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye from the Marvel films. If you're not familiar with the Jason Bourne story, Jason Bourne is a sleeper cell agent that is controlled by the government. He manages to escape and is running. In every film he's in, he's running away from the government. Government's trying to capture him.
Right.
Well, come to find out, there was another sleeper cell agent that got out, and it was Jeremy Renner's character. The movie was fine, but it wasn't as fun because it wasn't kind
of pointless.
It wasn't Matt Damon. How are you going to do a Bourne movie without Matt Damon? And my final example is actually a movie I kind of like, but it still doesn't work because it's not who we want to see in the sequel. It's Evan Almighty. Evan Almighty was the sequel to the far superior Bruce Almighty.
Yeah.
Of course, Evan was the jackass character in the first film.
I actually thought you were going to say Home Alone.
That's okay. Yeah, well, but here's the thing about the Home Alone movies is that they do the very sinful thing and just create new storylines. These are movies, the movies I just named off have a connection to the original characters. They all have a connection, but they decided to go with these people instead. And it's like, it doesn't work. And Evan Almighty is a great example. Of course, Evan, like I said, Evan is the character in Bruce Almighty that is mean to Bruce and the whole,
You just got to remember that the newsroom is like a big cookie.
There's still two infamous scenes from that movie that are constantly making the rounds on the internet. Of course, the one is when Bruce, while having the powers of God, takes control of Evan while he's on the air and makes him go. And the other scene that still everyone enjoys is the scene where Bruce makes Jennifer Aniston have an orgasm in the bathroom. Anywho, but the point is, like, okay, so I mean that's a great scene, and you think, okay, well, he's a jerk, and then the next movie's about him.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. It's not Jim Carrey. It's not Bruce. It's not the Further Adventures.
They should have just left it be.
That's what I'm saying. And so my point of all of this is that when you switch the characters around, it's not as much fun, and nobody wants to see that. The people go see Hocus Pocus because they want to see the Sanderson sisters.
Yeah, I mean, like, you still may have the three young girls who are in this one. They may come back for the next one.
They shouldn't. Nobody should.
So that would be the connection, but
there should be no one coming back for this third film.
The whole point of Hocus Pocus is the Sanderson
Sanderson
sisters. It's
sisters.
always been them. It will always be them. And like, if you try to change that, it's not Hocus Pocus.
It's not Hocus Pocus. But since they did come back together to make the second one, that's what makes this a good film. So, Miss Pengrino, would you recommend Hocus Pocus 2?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Don't go into it thinking it's going to be like a legit Halloween movie or something like it is a comedy. It is a nostalgia type movie. It is a little silly, but it's still really good.
It's worth it. It really is.
I think it's worth it.
And I recommend it too. Go in it with an open mind. You know, like Miss Pengrino said, don't think this is going to be the same movie as last time, because a little bit of it is, but there's still a lot of it's not. There's still a new flavor in there, and these people and even the filmmakers are trying. That is the most important part, is they are trying to make a good film, and they do. Yeah. So that's what you can take away from Hocus Pocus 2, is that this is a movie that people gave a crap on, and so they tried. And so go check out Hocus Pocus 2, streaming now on Disney Plus. Again with this thing?
I know who you are.
Well, of course you know who I am. That's why you would call me. That's the whole point.
Well, that was aggressive.